All right, so welcome to this week's Unikernel application spotlight. This week we're looking at XTDB. I don't know what the XT stands for, but maybe if I write a little bit more, I would learn. This is a neat little project I ran across. It's written in Kotlin. Apparently been in development for the past few years, but one of its kind of, you know, large features is the introduction of SQL 2011. And so SQL 2011 gives you temporal querying capabilities over your data. So they show some examples here where you can do these valid for invalid to, for all system time, all this sort of stuff. And so why would you want to do this? Well, there's lots of use cases actually. And they even list some of these down here. Basically, sometimes you don't always have data that's on time. Sometimes you want to do things like audits, or you want to do debugging, or maybe you just want to do some analysis on data. And there's been 1,000 times where I've ran a query one day, and then like a week later I run a query and data's completely different, and then it's like, man, I really wish I could know what got deleted or modified, 2 weeks ago or whatever. And so that's kind of what it's supposed to be able to, provide. And then also, it has these cool features where it can back out to S3 using Apache Arrow. So you can basically just scale it hard. But yeah, this is an interesting little project. Their GitHub is here. It uses Gradle for your build system. So if you're building this yourself, you would just do like a Gradle W and then build a self-contained jar. And so that's exactly what we did, which is actually also how they produce their Docker builds. So if you want to follow along, this is the package that was just made here. We're going to go ahead and pop it open, and we're going to try out the example to kind of see how it works. Now, this is the JVM. It's going to take a little second to boot here, but once it pops up, we'll follow along in their example that they have here. Just to iterate again, like one use case, for instance, is what do you do with deletes, right? It's very common to delete data, but a lot of people don't actually want to delete the data. They just want to make it seem like it was deleted, right? And so the problem with that is like, this is a very canonical example that people have used all the time. They're like, well, we're just going to say when we do a delete, we're just going to set a column to pretend that it's deleted. The problem with that is, like, as they explain, is that now you have to go through and update all your querying to accommodate for that use case. And if you don't really, maybe you're a new engineer to a team and you don't know this, it's very easy to get out of sync, and then, perhaps a test didn't catch it, and all of a sudden everything's gone to shit. So this is just like one example. There's many examples. Like I said, audits, analytics, all that sort of stuff. So this pops open two different servers. One is a Postgres compatible endpoint, and then this other one is this health server. So let's go ahead and pop into the Postgres, CLI here, and then let's go ahead and run their examples here. So in this example, we're showing an immutable database, and basically what we do is we pop some rows into this table. We show that it's there. We delete one of them, and then we show that it's not there. And then this is where the temporal stuff comes in. Now we can kind of go back in time and see, well, what did that table actually look like on that particular day? So let's go ahead and try this out here. We're just going to cut and paste because I'm super lazy. So we got that. Let's select star. Okay, we got our bikes. Let's go ahead and delete one of these. So we got it deleted. Let's go ahead and select star again. Okay, so it took out the one that we wanted. Great. But, you know, imagine 2 weeks from now or whatever, now you want to know, well, what's the problem? So what you can do is you can do a for all system time, for instance, and you can show all the different records that actually existed. And this is one type of query. The query that they're showing is a valid time as of date. This doesn't actually work for us because we would have to lock it down to like the past 5 minutes or something like that, right? And so that's why I used this for all system time example instead. But this kind of gives you an idea of the capabilities of this sort of system. Like I said, for finance and, you know, risk and all sorts of stuff. Analytics, huge one. So it's a pretty interesting database. I haven't explored it that much, but it did catch my eye, and I wanted to try it out running as a nanos unikernel.